Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car with my BFF Keyan. I'm in Guadalajara. You're in Austin. Dude, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. The office is super dead.
Is it
There's no
really?
one here.
Even
Yeah,
the
there's not.
Unchained
It's only
side
me.
and the Common side?
Unchained side is definitely dead because they're like a real company and they have holidays. And then the only people in the common side is Marty and his crew. They're over there.
Wow, dude. Marty's going hard. Nice. I
I
love to
guess
see it.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe he's interviewing family or something for the podcast. I don't know.
maybe. Got Logan working overtime. Cool. Yeah, I mean, dude, Guadalajara is great. I was traveling all day yesterday. Dude, I had no idea how crazy customs is when you're in Mexico. Um, so that's a thing. And then, and then
They like search
Guadalajara.
your bags or what?
Yeah, they inspected my bags. Guadalajara is actually like a way better airport than Mexico City, which I was kind of shocked.
Hmm.
And dude, the people here, they're just more. There's definitely a builder community here for sure. Definitely a builder community. I'm recording a podcast with a lot of these people, and so I'll post it later this weekend. But it's good right now. The hackathon's going on. They're doing some presentation stuff. Topher's, I brought Topher along with me and Carlos from Yopaki, and Topher's building them a mempool. So that's kind of cool. Like a mempool, the one that we
What?
have at the lab.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like cool. I was like, wow, he's building his own mempool.
Yeah, the screen that we have.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
know.
he's building that for him, and yeah, dude, they're excited to have PlebLab here, which is kind of cool. I Yeah, Chris is doing an amazing job, and they have some other people super, and it's basically a maker space. Like you can make t-shirts here. You can make There's a drone right here. You can make all sorts of things. It's basically a maker space. You can make anything you want. And then there's like a small table of Bitcoiners in the back. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not just Bitcoiners there, or
Yeah, it's not just Bitcoiners here. It's like people from all over, like in like building different things. A lot of young people. It reminds me of the Pleb Lab that we had on the poor side of 6th Street. That's what it reminds me of. It's like when we were
okay,
just starting out, Yeah.
I see.
But yeah, it's
When it was
good.
more pleb. Cool.
Yeah, when it was more pleb. I guess that's a good way to put it.
Well,
Um,
these offices now are super
I mean,
fancy.
yeah, we've grown up, so it's different. You even have a light back there. I was
I have
telling
a
you.
window. I mean,
Well,
before
look at that
just
light.
a month ago, I didn't have a window.
Look at that
Yeah,
Stacker News
but
light. I was telling you right before the show for the Stackers listening at home. Uh, the other day I went home at night and I forgot where I was, you know what I mean? And it was like an out of body experience. And I look up and I see this SN logo, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's Stacker News' headquarters." And I had this moment where I forgot who I was. If that made any sense? Like it was like a
hmm,
weird out of body dream experience, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "That's Stacker News." But
yeah,
anyways,
it's like a bat signal for Bitcoiners, maybe.
yeah, you can see. So right now, if you drive down 6th Street, you can see "Fix the Money, Fix the World" if the window's open, right by Marty's, and then you can see Stacker News, and then I don't know if Unchained has one on their side, but I want to add one on Pleb Lab side. So
Not yet. Hopefully, I inspire you guys to be more loud and proud with your
yeah,
company.
yeah. Anyways, if you've never seen this crazy show before, me and Keon cover the top 5 stories on Stacker.news, the front page of Bitcoin. This week has been incredibly busy on Stacker News. Everybody's home for the holidays. Everybody's zapping. Keon, how was your week? What do you think about It feels like there's more people on the site, right? Or is it just me?
I don't think so. I think it's probably a normal amount. There was some more activity. Oh, I think there were a lot of people promoting Black Friday deals
Mm.
from trying to get them in front of stackers. There was some of that, and then yesterday this morning the site was like super slow because something broke overnight, and I spent most of my morning trying to figure it out. We figured it out, fortunately, but I was worried we weren't even going to do this podcast because it was like the site
Gosh.
was, yeah, it was bad. It was pretty. I mean, the issue was like minor,
Mhm.
and it just like healed once we figured out what it was. But for a while there, the site was not working. Yeah, but that was, that's what I woke up to this morning, and the rest of the week was relatively normal, just coding and reviewing other
Yeah.
people's code. But that's how my week was. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you celebrate?
No, I was traveling pretty much yesterday, but it was weird because I actually thought Thanksgiving was last Thursday. Um, and so it's fine. I think it was good. We had a really good Friendsgiving. So I think that was definitely my Thanksgiving for the holiday, and that was a lot of fun. We had like I don't know how many Bitcoiners we had inside of the comments, but it was a really good night.
A
But
lot.
it was a lot. So I think
Tony
that
made
was.
brisket. It was really good.
Oh yeah, he made brisket. That brisket was good. Stein's freaking ribeye, bro. That was still dreaming about that.
Oh, I
Anyways,
didn't even see it.
you didn't. Oh yeah, you probably didn't get to try any. It went by so
Yeah,
fast.
you must have ate it all. All you
I
smart
definitely
guys must
got
have ate
there.
it.
I went straight for it. Cool. We're gonna go backwards again. This is the third week in a row. Stackers, let us know if you like the backwards thing. I'm still getting used to it. It's gonna take me about
We're gonna look at the
30.
data, Car.
It's gonna take about 30 episodes to really get used to this because I gotta reconfigure my whole brain to going backwards. So the number five story of the week. Number five was the fourth turning 27 years later. This is from Books and Article territory, November 27th. KR, 22 comments, 3,516 stats. Keyan, KR is back.
It looks like it. I think this was his first post that he's made in nearly 6 months on the site.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty cool. A lot of stackers in the comments are welcoming him back after being gone for a bit. But this post in particular, he brings up some of the predictions made in the fourth turning, which is kind of this book about the cycles of human civilizations, roughly, and it uses these historical kind of landmarks that signify this cycle to then predict the future cycles that'll happen. It's a bit like, I mean, I'm not really sure how cyclical things are. I think they are to a large degree. Economically, I think they are. I think uh, I think you can determine based on starting conditions how things go, even in complex systems. But it's a bit like horoscopes. You someone makes a prediction and you begin seeing the prediction happen because you're looking for it. And so that might be what's going on with fourth turning. But he asks here if he pulls out one page in particular from the fourth turning and asks stackers if they think it's actually unfold. The prediction is actually unfolding. He says around 2005. Around could mean 2008, 2006, 2008. The financial crisis. A sudden spark will catalyze a crisis mood, and social, political, economic trust will implode. And then before 2025, America will pass through a great gate in history, like the American Revolution and Civil War. And I think implicitly he's saying the election of 2024 might be this moment. And he asked stackers how they'd rate those predictions. He didn't load it with all the implied events that I
Yeah.
just did. He just kind of leaves it there for them to make their own conclusions. But yeah, that's
What
the
do you
post.
think? I have a take on this, but what's your take on it?
Uh, I mean, I think this kind of my point is like I think you can say these are kind of vague predictions. A sudden spark will catalyze a crisis mood, and I think like almost in any year in history, you can find a crisis mood, like something that you could say is a crisis mood. I think, you know, I would say, but we did call the financial crisis the financial crisis, so the words are at least similar, and that is if the predictions didn't predict something happening around that point, then it would probably discredit it, but it did predict it there, and then I don't know if we've gone through an American Revolution. So it certainly feels like there was a bit of an information war around this last election, and maybe that's how all wars are now. I don't know. I mean, obviously
Yeah,
we still have kinetic war, but it
yeah,
does feel like we had a bit of a war recently. So that's my take.
yeah. I think my takes on it. I don't know if the fourth turning's real. It definitely feels more like a farmer's almanac than it does like a. Well, I don't know. I guess that would be actually be more precise, a farmer's almanac than a actual like whatever it's supposed to be as far as like prediction stuff. But I think what's that quote? It's like a big quote. It's the most known quote. If you want to look into the future, take a look at the past, right? I forget who says that quote, but to me, that's what I kind of always thought the fourth turning was more of a um, these are the marks in history. I think Dalio talks about it. You know, there's this
Mhm.
time, the empire, and all that kind of thing. And so I kind of looked at it more like that. I definitely feel there is a turning kind of happening where we're moving from this world of dollars to Bitcoin or to harder currencies, whatever you want to call them. And I think there is a shakeup, especially in the tech space, with how people are perceiving, you know, red and blue and like you know the kind of game. I don't know if it's completely up at this point, but it does definitely feel like it's a lot harder to build in this environment than it was 5 or 6 years ago. Um, and I would even say that's even making its way to the tech space now. Um, I think AI is changing that. I think Bitcoin's changing that. I think just where we are with society and how information hits us at a faster rate with like places like Stacker News and Twitter and stuff like that. So I think there is a turning, but it probably feels maybe we're in the eye of it right now. I couldn't really tell you. I know it's already done. It's already happened. But that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I think it is looking at the arc of history and just kind of seeing where it repeats. And I do think there is something to like humans are pretty predictable. You give them the same
Yeah,
incentives, like
yeah,
nothing fundamental changes. The power structures and the economic structures, they just kind of repeat.
right.
I think that's why a lot of people are excited about Bitcoin is because presumably it changes that a little bit. It will mess with it, hopefully messes with human incentives for the better and produces, you know, it breaks the cycle a little bit in certain ways.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to disrupt the kings, whoever the kings are right now that are in charge of it all, or at least throw a wrench in it, or maybe you know elect a couple new ones. I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? Um, Yeah, Coins Reporter said we missed you. Talking about KR, he said I recently read a news from Indian media, and it suggested that America is definitely going to be bankrupt by the for the debt. It is now 200%. Um, huh.
Oh,
Shep says, man, if
fighting
Trump.
words.
Shep said, man, if Trump did not turn his head, that prediction would have been spot on. Yeah, what do you think about that?
I don't. I still think there was a bit of an information war. Again, you can kind of squint, and these predictions line up perfectly. That's why you have to be kind of skeptical of any prediction. 'Cause again, once someone lays out a prediction, you begin looking for it, and you'll like change the narrative to fit the prediction. You'll
Right,
frame whatever's happened to fit the prediction.
right, for sure. Um, no, can I get another water there? Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 that works too. Yeah, cool. Man, they're great here. They're
dude, you guys
just,
have what they have waiters there, or what's
dude.
up with that?
I don't know what it was. And Stackers, I promise you, car's not you know doing anything. But I was in here and I came and found this room and I just started like doing my thing. And people were like, one of the guys who I know, he's like, dude, you came in here and it looked like you were like taking over. And I was like, no, I was like, I wasn't trying to
Oh
take over.
no.
Yeah, I was like, no, I was just like, this is my environment. I'm comfortable in this type of environment. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah,
But
used to
no,
being the boss.
no, I'm just not used to be the boss, but I'm used to this type of, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a mechanic in a garage. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And,
Yeah, exactly. You know what a wrench is. You know where the screwdriver
yeah.
is.
Anyway, they're super nice here, though, as you can tell, getting me drinks. I don't even have that kind of pull up club lab. The fourth top story,
You get
Stackers.
them for other people at PlebLab. That's
I
how that
know that's
works.
how that works. The fourth top story here on Stacker News this week is Tornado Cash Fifth Circuit full decision, politics and law, Siggy 47, 20 comments, 4,000 stats. Keyan, do they finally? I guess they have a decision now, right? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think it. I think.
Thanks,
I think
Rob.
this was kind of. I don't know exactly because I'm not a lawyer. I can't follow. I can't like the important things don't stick as well as they should. But I think there was already a decision made in the case, and then I think it got floated to the uh, circuit courts, and that's where this decision was made. But it's actually very good for the industry as a whole, and it relates to Tornado Cash and this mixer. But it basically says that uh, the because the smart contract is non-custodial, you can't hold the developer, and it's out of the control of the Tornado Cash developers, and they're not initiating the transactions in and out. You can't stop them coming in and out. Um, that they're not liable for criminals using the software. That's basically what it says, and it says that, and it goes further and kind of condemns. Uh, I don't the regulatory agents. I think OFAC for trying to kind of strike beyond its weight here. Like it does. There aren't. It is not. It has not been empowered by Congress to charge people with such crimes. They kind of made up their own regulatory framework and are trying to enforce that. But we had this Chevron decision, this Loper Bright case earlier in the year that the Supreme Court made. They basically said regulatory agencies can't do that. They can't make up their own laws. Congress has to give them the laws, and they have to be clear and not vague, and clear enough that a judge can decide on them without having to defer to a regulatory agency. So that's what we're kind of seeing show up in this case, is that a lot of what was happening in terms of prosecuting developers and founders in Bitcoin and the broader ecosystem uh, is regulatory overreach, and it's like not constitutional according to the Supreme Court. And so this is very good news. I suspect we'll see a lot more of this happen.
Yeah, we had the top comment from Arcaris. He said it's
Yes.
annoying that Recap can't add the decision to their database currently due to a technical issue. Tom K said, "Thank you very much for your efforts." Um, yeah, it
Hmm.
looks like mostly other comments here. Simple Stacker said the last part about how it only applies a service when someone provides the relevant input. Does this mean you could still be prosecuted for using Tornado Cash, but it's not illegal to have published a smart contract? Siggy says theoretically, but remember that this is the case. This case is only discussing sanctions under this limited issue. What does he mean by that? In my opinion, the really important part is not allowing the agency to define property in any manner. Man, dude, you really need a lawyer for this stuff.
Yeah, but part of the indictment, part of the charges required them saying that the smart contract was the property of the developers, and so it's kind of like saying the developers handed North Korea a gun to
Yeah,
kill someone with, and basically the court is like, no, it wasn't. They didn't hand them a gun. It wasn't their gun. It wasn't their property. It was a gun that they sort of made the plans for, and North Korea manufactured the gun and shot someone. So that's kind of,
yeah,
I don't know. It's the best metaphor I can come up with. That's what seems to be going on.
yeah. I think the thing with me that just I always often wondered, and maybe there is a process to this. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but is there a particular part of a hearing where they set to define terms that will be used in the court case? Like, does that ever happen? Like, do they get together with the prosecutors and do they come to this kind of like these are the terms that that we are going to define prior to going to court. We both need to acknowledge these are what we agree on these terms mean. and then with that kind of like deliberation or whatever type of uh construct that comes up with, like then go to court and actually start discussing the case with those defined terms. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? I feel like
It makes sense. That I mean, that's a big part of what law is. I mean, it's all written down, and a lot of it, it's written in words, and you have to, in order to kind of interpret laws, you have to know what those words mean. And so, oftentimes, a lot of legal documents do um, define what the words mean explicitly, as explicitly as possible, and then I think oftentimes when you have decisions that are made based on those laws, they'll reference a lot of the writing that the people who wrote the laws were doing around the time that they wrote the law, just in case the definitions of words have changed since then, so that there's even like a snapshot, a point in time definition of certain words. But in this case in particular, aside from like the existing law, Siggy says that there was a cryptocurrency primer at the beginning of the decision. So there was there was a demonstration by the judge that they understood kind of the subject matter at hand, and I assume had come to an understanding with the help of both lawyers in this case, probably, both teams. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, words and their definitions are super important, and they do in law more than many places mean something more specific than not.
yeah, it looks like they're actually referencing some of this stuff too inside of these court documents. Um, that's interesting. Fascinating. Yeah. Um, where do you see this going now? I know that you posted another one right after this called Fifth Circuit List Tornado Cash Sanctions. The Rage wrote about it. Um, where do you see this going now?
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same decision. The Rage came out with it a few days. They wrote about it a little bit a few days earlier. Um, but it's just I think it's really good for the industry that we don't have uh, unelected administrators telling American citizens and companies what they can and can't do. Basically inventing laws they don't have lawmaking powers really. And so I think in general that's good because it means that there will be less regulations that are driven by political reasons and by defending existing economic interests and stuff like that. Because it'll have to pass through Congress where there's actually accountability on who voted for what law, and whether constituencies want a senator or a congressman to vote for a law that says that you can't maintain your financial privacy, versus a regulatory agency that can say it's illegal to maintain your financial privacy and there's no repercussions. And that's kind of what was going on before. And now this suggests that we might actually be able to prevent some of the worst case scenarios with financial privacy.
Yeah, it actually makes the whole samurai um, case seem like it's going to be um, more. Um,
Handled differently.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good news. I mean, it's
Yeah, dude.
hopeful. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but it's definitely hopeful for the samurai guys who are Bitcoiners trying to you know write code and stay out of jail. Um,
Yep.
interesting stuff, man. That's big news this week. It's always one of those things too, where they're just like, oh, let's just get it out before the holidays, and we can just call it. We don't have it hanging behind our back start of the year. Who knows? Yeah, let's
Yeah.
jump into the third top story of the week. is my response to Steve Patterson on Hijacking Bitcoin, Bob Murphy show. This is from Kepbird, November 27th. Bitcoin territory, 17 comments, 12,000 sats. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, it looks like I guess a BCasher. Steve Patterson went on Bob Murphy's show. I think Bob Murphy is a libertarian, like radio personality, is my rough understanding. I haven't listened to him much, but and so he went on and kind of talked about Bcash versus Bitcoin, and a lot of these arguments will be familiar. But that's basically what he did. Was he basically advocated. Maybe he didn't advocate for Bitcoin Cash anymore, but he definitely argued how Bitcoin kind of strayed from what they see as Satoshi's vision, what their vision for Bitcoin was, which was, and it's sort of a straw man, but that Bitcoin is intended to be for medium exchange, and the existing BTC, the existing Bitcoin, as we know it and use it and support it, it's mostly a store of value, and that everyone who voted in that fork to go with the smaller blocks voted for store of value over medium of exchange. And Catford here breaks down all of his arguments for us, and a lot of them, as I said, the store of value versus medium of exchange. The other thing is that, or one of the arguments you'll hear Roger Ver make a lot, is that it's like Blockstream and large companies wanted small blocks because they wanted to be gatekeepers to medium of exchange. It was like, it was in their financial interest to keep blocks small. That's why they made blocks small, is to make Bitcoin not usable without a trusted third party. And so that's one of the arguments I guess Steve Patterson makes. The other argument you hear, not just from Bcashers, but also a lot of people pushing for covenants right now, is that Lightning doesn't work. And then more about Satoshi's vision and appealing to Satoshi as an authority on what Bitcoin should be. But that's kind of the whole
Yeah,
thing. It's basically Roger Ver's stick. I
yeah,
guess Bob Murphy will have Stefan Livera on
yeah. I,
to
I,
talk about it.
I think just for the stackers at home, this happens every cycle. Uh, so right now, all these shit coins are on exchanges. All these guys are trying to push their bags right now because they see Bitcoin pumping. So now they're trying to pump their own bags, and they're trying to get people to buy all their shit coins. And so they're trying to just do any sort of argument to get them into the limelight. There will be some people who get psyoped and believe them, and we'll start off like by, oh, I'm just looking at it as like normal content because I'm curious, like, and then they get psyoped into believing it, and then before you know it, they're like full on shitcoiners. I've seen it happen multiple times. I'm telling the stackers, stay away, like stay far away. Don't even entertain the idea, because you'll find yourself on the other end of a shitcoiner, and you'll be like, oh no, Bitcoin is the. I'm telling you, don't start this path. I mean, I saw Vlad. It happened to Vlad this past year, where now he's a complete. Hey, he's a complete shitcoiner now. Like he started off Bitcoin, and then now he's like full on shitcoiner, and it's just sad to see people psyop themselves. Hate to
Yeah,
see it.
I think part of it happens is there's like a frustration with not having the voice that you want to have in Bitcoin, not having the power that you want to have in Bitcoin.
Oh,
Bitcoiners
interesting. Yeah.
not doing what you want them to
Ah,
do.
sí. Poquito. We're gonna do some maintenance here. Okay. To the machines. Okay. I just want to know how long you have. We probably have another 25 minutes. Okay. Is that okay? Yeah, just keep it goes, and okay. I'm gonna come back here. Okay, cool. Thank you. Got 25 minutes, Keyan.
All right,
They're kicking
I'll
us out.
start the
All right,
clock.
we gotta speed it up. Anyway, yeah, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying that I think a lot of what happens with the shitcoin, some of the shitcoin stuff, especially from people who are pretty strong Bitcoiners, is they get upset with their lack of being able to change Bitcoin, and what they end up doing is like sort of rage quitting, but rage quitting into other coins and other things where they feel like they maybe have more power or can do the specific things that they want. I think it's just what we're seeing a little bit with other people is, that's how they're expressing their frustrations. Um,
Yeah.
and they're still Bitcoin. I would still call them Bitcoiners, but they're not. They're obviously not Bitcoin maximalists, and they are shitcoining. And it
They're
is
yeah,
abhorrent.
they've turned to the dark side. They're they're just scamming, and they're trying to confuse people. And I mean, to each their own, man. But yeah. Anyways, be better, stackers. Don't fall into the trap. Darth Coin says that's the whole point. We are tired of this BCH bullshit. And my answer to all these shitcoiners is simple. You don't like Bitcoin? Fine. More sats for me. He's right. I mean, that's total truth, dude. If you don't like Bitcoin, it's okay. I don't know.
Well, I like hearing the arguments. So I like listening to what is Vlad complaining about? Because even if I don't agree with his solution or the action he's taking, his criticisms of Bitcoin might be valid, and it's worth kind of integrating into your view of Bitcoin that there is this vulnerability, and the truth is we lost an ally in Vlad. I would prefer to have more Bitcoiners rather than less. So it's worth taking them seriously and trying to really evaluate why they're making the decisions that they're making, and make sure that, because we're not always going to be right. And so it's worth considering that we did something wrong. And in this case, I'm not so sure. It seems like Vlad is mostly upset uh, about privacy. It seems like that got him really charged up. Um,
Yeah.
so
Who
I
knows?
don't know.
Um, anyways, let's jump into the second top story of the week. We got like 18 minutes. Bitcoin Core's loss of focus. This is from Bitcoin Territory rsync 25, 37 comments, 7,600 sats. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah. So this is another essay from James O'Byrne. I kind of hate the title. It kind of upsets me that he's being it's a little he's being a little bit, I don't know. It's a little bit childish to suggest that the reason why the changes that he wants to get into Bitcoin are happening because he names them in here. Merch and Matt Corallo aren't supportive of the things that he thinks should happen in Bitcoin, and they don't have focus because they don't support the direction that Bitcoin should have, the direction that he thinks Bitcoin should go in. I mean, he says valid things in here. I just think it's a little bit whiny. And he says he's not being whiny, but that's he even that suggests that he can even tell he's being whiny. Anyways, there is a significant portion of Bitcoiners, fairly technical, or no, quite technical. A technical contingent of Bitcoiners, many of whom want to see more movement on covenants and getting more UTXO scaling happening now. And it's worth listening to their arguments. I think many of them are valid. I personally do think there are benefits to having covenants, and I would like to see UTXO scaling. On the other hand, I don't think the reason we don't have it is because the core developers don't lack focus, or because the process has been corrupted. I think it's just that it's not scale isn't that compelling right now when we don't have scaling problems. I think that's mostly what's keeping us from doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he makes a lot of arguments. He's kind of on the
I think
he
there's a
kind
lot
of
of
yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that's not being shared. That's probably going on. We were talking to somebody at the lab this past week, and I won't say who it is, but they were saying that they were having conversations with James about this already. And this is actually above my pay grade, so I'm not gonna bother going into the specifics of it all because this is not my lane. See, Keon, I know my lane. This is not my lane at all. But Merch, I consider Merch a friend, and he seemed really excited about him starting his or him and a couple others starting their own thing in San Fran and like doing some core stuff over there, and so I would imagine, that's probably playing to the fact too as well. Now there's another group, um, another I guess group like that also contributing to core that's not involved with the other group that was, and I don't want to give names to these groups, but I think people know who they are. So, anyways, I think that's probably the frustration that we're probably seeing. I would imagine if James is probably saying this, he's not probably just saying it for himself. I would imagine he's probably saying it for probably others that also agree with what he has to say. So I don't know. It to me, I don't really follow this stuff. The question I have to ask you actually, I thought they had Delving Bitcoin for this. Why are they posting it all on Twitter now?
Oh, I no, I don't think. I just think they want, they want engagement like anyone. Network effects
Oh,
matter.
okay.
Yeah, and so they want, they're trying. This is part. They're trying to pitch plebs. They're trying to gain mind share
Hmm.
uh, on this fight.
So they're
Get
trying to get the
people.
plebs behind them.
Yes, they're trying to find more pitchforks to add um, to the effort. I personally don't think it helps much. I mean, unless you do want to get a certain type of pleb on your side, to be attacking the core developers and saying and basically claiming they're either lazy or corrupt. I don't think that's going to bring people to your side. I think there are valid arguments to be made that maybe we have a countdown on when ossification will happen, and if we want to scale UTXOs, we need to get it done soon. And I think there's an argument to be made there. It's not a very compelling argument, which is why I think they resort to these kind of character attacks.
Yeah.
Because it's all whether the ossification is speculative, and whether ossification is going to really happen or happen soon or it's going to get worse over time. It's speculative, and they're just making a prediction that they can't really back up. I agree that it seems true, but I don't know. And then there are the further advocacy for scaling UTXOs is also valid, because we know there are limitations on how many people can have their own UTXO, and so finding ways to do that is good. And those are both things to be discussed. But you don't need to be attacking core devs and calling them lazy and stupid and
Yeah.
unfocused.
Yeah. So that's why he's on Twitter. That makes sense. Yeah, because I thought, me as a pleb, I thought that Delving Bitcoin was where they were discussing everything now. So I don't even pay attention to it anymore. Um, but yeah, interesting. Cool. And then Peter Todd. Sounds like Peter Todd sounded off, and I saw Luke also sounded off too as well. Seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. Check it out, Stackers. A lot of drama there. If you're into that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Or
This
you
is
can
our
be
block war.
or you can be like me and just not pay attention to it until it gets really serious.
Stay in
I
your
don't know.
lane.
I don't know. I feel like seeing these people at TabConf and like other meetups helps me understand this better and see their side. So if you're not doing that, you're probably not going to get the plebs on your side. That's just my 2 cents, 2 sats. Um,
Yeah,
People love merch though. People love merch. So
yeah. It's politically a bad move. These
Corallo
both are.
too. Like people love Corallo. Like I didn't even knew that
Yeah,
guy knew me when I went to tap. He knew who I was. I was shocked. I was like, wow, Matt knows who I am. I was like, it's crazy. I have a lot of respect for that guy. But I think that's what it is. You have to go and actually talk to these people to get them on your side. It's still a human network, right? To a certain degree.
oh,
Uh,
definitely. Still very. I mean, that is Bitcoin is social. It's like
yeah.
fundamentally social.
Semantic Takeover risk. This is Bitcoin territory. Siggy 47, 22 comments, 16,000 sats. Keyan, what's this?
This is the number one story
Oh yeah, the
of the
number one
week.
story. I forgot.
This is the number we built up all the way here for this number one
There you
story.
go. Yeah, really sell it, dude. It was a
Yeah,
good. This was a good week on Stacker News. I'm sad we can't keep talking about this more, but
I
yeah, it
know.
was a
Well,
good week. A lot of good
people
news.
got to do their jobs.
Yeah.
They got to clean up after you. Um, Yeah. Okay. But so Siggy read Resistance Money, which I've been waffling on doing a book club on Resistance Money. I bought
Mm,
2 copies. I still haven't even begun reading it, unfortunately. Anyway, but Siggy apparently finished it, and he said in chapter 11 they talk about semantic takeover of Bitcoin, and it's a really interesting attack vector that Bitcoiners probably don't think about, at least directly, a lot, which is kind of changing over time, the meaning of Bitcoin kind of changing. And that kind of the social the erosion of kind of what it means to be a Bitcoiner and what Bitcoin means, what Bitcoin's goals are, and that that can happen over time. Where and maybe we've already kind of seen it with the ETFs, and holding MicroStrategy stock is now being a Bitcoiner. um, and so
it's
you can
crazy.
but you can kind of see that sort of happening where you have this window of meaning, and you can see it kind of shifting away from
Interesting.
what we kind of understand Bitcoin to be, which is kind of the self custody, self sovereign, censorship resistant, you know privacy oriented, type of technology. And it seems to be shifting a bit. And so this is one way Bitcoin could be attacked, is if you change the meaning of Bitcoin. Now people who when people come to Bitcoin, they have lower expectations of having those other properties, and begin accepting custodial solutions, KYC, um, other types of infringements on, like, the right to own Bitcoin and stuff.
Yeah,
And so that's the risk here. And I thought it was a really interesting attack vector.
yeah. I'm gonna get this. I don't see it on Audible, unfortunately, so I can't listen to it. So, but yeah, this looks fun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very good book. It's not very technical, and more speaks about culture, ideas, the things
Yep.
that, because the all the authors are professors of philosophy, and so that's the way they understand Bitcoin and the way they discuss
Oh
it in the
wow.
book.
Even Andreas said why he's against ETFs. That's interesting. I didn't see that video. Cool.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like post ETF world everything's changed, but stackers know this already. Cool. We're gonna jump into our stories this week. Keon, this is your story. How I talk about Bitcoin to friends and family during Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring this up because Thanksgiving just passed, and I know many stackers had the opportunity, had the opportunity to orange pill their relatives. Uh, the one time they get for the year is around Thanksgiving usually, and so every Bitcoiner turns into somewhat of a salesman. Even if you don't want to, your family, if you mention Bitcoin or something with Bitcoin, people start asking a lot of questions, and then you end up trying to sell it to them, basically,
Yeah.
unintentionally even. So I forget how Den told me to say his name. I'll have to go back to his pronunciation of it. But Den wrote this piece on basically not doing it. He
I
referenced,
it's
yeah,
right on. It's right on.
Joachim Book wrote, for a few years ago. He wrote this op-ed for Bitcoin Magazine that he quotes here. No one, your family members didn't come to Thanksgiving to want to be sold,
Yeah.
and people don't get Bitcoin until they're ready to get
Yep.
Bitcoin,
Yep.
and then they can sort of find it on their own. They'll find
Yep.
you, and so you don't need to thrust it on them.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it.
Totally. I 100% agree. There was a time where I did used to do this, and I thought it was like paramount. I've realized no one cares, and it's a waste of time. And people get the price that they deserve, or get Bitcoin at the price they deserve, and that's what I believe. Good posts. The other one I wanted to bring up was the PlebDev starter. So Austin went ahead and created a free course to compete with Chain Code Labs' free course for all the people that were.
Competing, I don't think he would say
Well, the
that.
people were saying, well, it's if Chain Code's free, why doesn't he make his free? So he said, boom, in your face, it is free, and there you go. This is Austin's PlebDevs free course, dude. I mean, he puts a lot of work into this. Look at this.
Oh yeah. absolutely. I mean, he has a full time job too, and so you see him hustling nights and
Yeah,
weekends
he's
on
hustling.
the side stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, he's really passionate about it. Really passionate about it. I'm kind of shocked how passionate he is about it.
it's true. He doesn't. He seems like too cool of a guy to be passionate about anything, you
Well,
know.
he doesn't let
But
on that he's passionate about it, but he is. That's what it
if you
is.
talk, yeah, if you talk to him, he'll let it rip a little
He'll,
bit.
yeah.
You get,
But yeah, check it out. Stackers, PlebDev starter. I know a lot of people were pitchforking him last time he was on, but there you go. Free course. The other thing is Bitcoin Black Friday, lots of deals. Um, dude, did you see? So all these cold cards, I'm sorry, 20% off. Um, all sorts of things. We even have PlebLab even has their builder pass half off. Boom.
oh,
You can
I
get a you can
see.
get a you can get a Sats Boy case for your code card. But yeah, a lot of stuff here. Check it out, Stackers. There's a ton of deals on Stacker News right now. I think if you go to the front page, yeah, there's Jades on there. Blockstream's selling their Jade wallet that no one wants. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Uh, and then what else? There's another one I saw here. Um, I forget. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't know. Everything's 0% off on Stacker News right now. No, no, no Black Friday deals.
no
Yeah,
Black Friday
still,
deals. Yeah, where's my
we're still.
territory Black Friday deal? You could have
I
done like
know.
10,000 sats
Every,
off or something.
everyone keeps talking about us lowering the prices now that the fiat. I think we probably have to because it does feel like it's respectful of Bitcoin that your purchasing power should go up. We just got to figure out how to do it. I think what we might do is lower the monthly and yearly, and then anyone who's on a current plan, a current period billing period, will like refund them, and then I'll
Wait.
raise
Oh
the
wow.
I'll raise the lifetime
Why
price
don't
of
you
them.
just let the territory owners just pay the difference to own it at the cost that it is?
Owning it is actually bad. That's what I've noticed is the majority of the territories that sit unused, they're owned. They're like outright owned. People just
Oh.
kind of they buy them and they squat them. They don't want to put in the effort. But if someone is paying monthly, they kind of want it to work. And
What if you're a struggling startup and you're trying to find and defend your 100,000 sat purchase every month for a territory? Uh,
well, that's what I mean. That's why I think the price should probably be. We should probably lower the Bitcoin price of these territories. And I think that that'd be fine. I don't know when we'll be able to get around to that, but that's what
yeah,
I'm that'll be our Black Friday deal.
there you go.
So
Heard it here first. The other thing I wanted to bring up was the Joe Rogan, Marc Andreessen. Did you watch this?
I watched parts of it. I haven't had time to sit
Dude,
down yet.
he actually I thought for some reason I thought he was like a full on like blue rabble rouser like Democrat. Like no?
These tech guys, that's why I think Bitcoiners really misunderstand Silicon Valley. I, I don't know why that narrative is out there, but a lot of them are just they're people who make things, and so they usually are interacting with reality a lot, and they're usually pretty based. Some of them do take on social crusades, which tended to be
Yeah.
with on the Democratic side, but now freedom is they care about
He
like one of the realest things you can take away from someone is their freedom, and that's what's under threat now. So they care about that.
he was talking about NGOs, which I've been talking about for a while, and he was saying how some of them have effectively become a proxy arm of government centralizing its power. Which, for somebody like him to say that was just like kind of shocking. I was like, oh crap! Like, how does he know about that? But I guess he must be looking at the same stuff too. The other thing was he brought up Noster,
I saw that.
and he was they're basically laughing at Jack for making Blue
No,
Sky. That's what everybody. But they were, dude. They were.
I don't think I didn't really see him as laughing. I thought they brought it up more as a matter of fact, and
Okay.
more so like look at Jack keep trying to he keeps trying to figure it out, and also it's
Yeah. So
not
you're like
Jack,
he's like
right?
laughing. It's crazy.
But it's it's not Jack. Jack is like, yeah, he's the like sugar daddy of Nostr, but like that's about it. And OpenSats is like the sugar baby, and
Yeah.
buying Gucci bags. I don't know. I don't know. That's sometimes metaphors get out of control, but that is,
It's
I don't think
effectively
it's
what's
Jack,
going on.
but he
Yeah.
spends a lot of time there and he believes in it. I don't know. I didn't see them laughing at him.
Anyways, I always thought it was interesting that it was even on Marc Andreessen's radar noster. So
It's
that
very
was cool.
cool.
That was cool to see. I mean, I've been using Primal. Primal's amazing right now. It's really, really good. Um, I don't know. I think that just latest update, it just really beat everybody out of the water. I think Amethyst is like so amazing and it's great, but as far as iOS, I don't know why you would use anything else at this point. Primal's pretty exceptional as far as an experience now. I think the only thing I wish they would add is just like Orbot or Tor support, but other than that, that's my only nitpick.
I'm still using Damus, so
Yeah, Damus is
you don't
yeah.
like it?
Well, it's not what it was, unfortunately.
Hmm.
It's just my 2 cents. It doesn't mean it can't be better, right? But it's just not what it was. Cool. I gotta get out of here. They're gonna give me that look. Okay, great now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Keyan, just real quick. Let's just go Cowboys. People will kill us for this. What's the most Cowboy segment? Yeehaw. What is the top Cowboys of the week?
Oh, okay. Well, let me find him here before
Mhm.
you get kicked out. All right. It looks like I'm still, as far as people not hiding, it's me.
Uh,
Bitcoin is the future. 117's climbed
uh,
up, I think.
uh,
Not a whole lot of change. Still stacking after all these years. Has kept it.
cool.
I think we had some churn, but yeah, that's what's going on with the
Okay.
hats.
All right. And then top stackers real quick. Sorry guys, we're all over the place this week. Same stackers. Arsenic's coming up. Great Ruby.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Um, all right. I think that's all I got. Kia, what are you doing this weekend?
I think I'm gonna figure out my health insurance because it's pretty
Oh
messed
wow.
up. Yeah, and then I wanted to recommend to you the Substance, the movie The Substance.
Ooh, nice. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it has I forget her name. Anyway, the one that was married to Bruce Willis. Do you
Oh,
know who
Demi
I'm talking
Moore?
about? Demi Moore. Demi Moore
Yeah.
stars in it. It's like it's sort of horror. It's sort of like Cronenberg horror, but
Oh, I
it's
love
like,
that.
yeah, it's modern and I think better than a Cronenberg
Yeah.
than any Cronenberg I've seen.
I'll check
Best
that
movie I've
out.
seen this year, probably. Yeah.
Also, just for since we're doing our movie segment right now, Silo's actually really good, buddy. I just saw the one last night. It's getting better. Steve Zahn's in there now. It's picking up, man.
I like
Like
that actor. I like that actor.
Silo's like it just took 3 episodes, Keon. I don't know. It's good though. It's really good. Come back if
I'm
you
sure it's
stopped
good.
watching it. It was just the
If you
first
haven't seen,
episode. Yeah, it's
if you
just the
haven't read
first
the books,
episode.
it's probably good. Yeah.
It's good. Anyways, stackers, have a great weekend. Keon,
Zap.